Get ready for a cloud-first workplace. Jumpstart your career by signing up for a Google Cloud hands-on learning experience. Companies around the world are moving to the cloud. This is a unique opportunity to gain new skills and professional credentials. If you want to discover a career, scale your startup, or perform groundbreaking research that will change the world, this is the event for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our Flutter series part 2. We will get started in just a moment. Before we get started, though, I want to do a couple of quick reminders. As you saw on our opening there, we have some really fantastic upcoming events. So I want to take a moment and just highlight when they're happening and really encourage y'all to take a moment, go and register for these events. So firstly, we have our Cloud Study Jam happening Saturday, October 10th. This will be happening at 11 a.m. So please take a moment and go to the bit.ly link you see on screen here. That is bit.ly/studyjamdsc to RSVP today. This is going to be a fantastic opportunity for you to start your journey with learning with Google Cloud and increase your potential as an employee or a desirable candidate for employment upon graduating. Second thing to notate here is our Dr. John Hennessy event or fireside chat with Dr. John Hennessy coming up on October 14th. What I need y'all to do for this is a couple things. Number one, visit the bit.ly link on screen and make sure to ask your questions using the hashtag Ask Dr. Hennessy. You can use that hashtag across social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Please take a moment if you have a question. We encourage y'all to submit it using our hashtag. It can be submitted via text or via video. So please take a moment and submit your questions. We think it would be a very awesome opportunity for everyone to get connected and have their questions answered from Dr. John Hennessy. And again, that is on October 14th, the bit.ly link at the bottom of the screen. Additional thing to notate here is we're starting something new to help us communicate with y'all during the event as well as outside of the event. So some of you may have seen a Discord link be shared. What I would love to do at this moment is just quickly mention our Discord server and show y'all a couple important things to notate before we get started. So on screen, you will notice Discord. So first and foremost, this is our welcome channel. A couple things to notate. We got all of our fantastic, social medias here. Take a moment and like, bookmark, and subscribe to each and every one of these channels. Y'all's help just elevates this reach and allows us to continue having awesome events. Second thing to notate is the rules. I need each and every one of you to take a moment and read the server rules. It's very important that you understand what is being asked of you and what will not be tolerated in terms of this Discord server. So please take a moment, read through it. I will not read it here for you today. But the important thing to notate is at the bottom, you'll see this green check mark. If you don't click this check mark, you actually will not gain access to the rest of our server and channels. So take a moment, click this green check mark, give it a second to update, and then you'll see a ton of amazing channels, which you can use throughout this event and more. So you'll see the traditional channels, if you will. I won't go into too much detail here. I want y'all to take a moment and become familiar with them, introduce yourself in the general as it comes. What I really want to show y'all is the technical support as well as the developer series you can find at the bottom. during this Flutter series, if you have questions, I want y'all to take a moment and go to this Flutter series and make sure to notate your questions here. That way, we can take a moment to answer the questions as we have a moment. Um, the other thing to notate here is with technical support, you will be able to share your screen and speak with Dalton. Dalton was one of our tutors who was helping last week with the Flutter Series 1 event. So if you're having trouble as we go through this event, please make sure to visit here. Quick note for y'all is only 10 people can join these lobbies at once. You'll see that there's 2 in there currently. If it is full, please give it a few minutes and we will make sure to have a spot open for you to have your questions answered. I also want to circle back just quickly to the fireside chat with Dr. John Hennessy. For some of you, you may not know exactly who he is. So Dr. John Hennessy is actually the chairman of Alphabet. He has a ton of amazing work experience, in the world as well as with students across different universities. So he's going to be coming and answering y'all's questions live. So if you have any questions about, perhaps his experience, recommendations on how to make or take advantage of cool resources in this virtual world, please take a moment and visit our Bitly link. Again, you can see it at the bottom of the screen. And please make your questions heard by using our hashtag and share this event with all your friends. We want this to be as engaging and thorough for each and every one of y'all as we can. But with that, I think we are here to cover a little bit more about Flutter than Discord and some of these other events. So without further ado, let me go ahead and pass the proverbial mic over to our fantastic speaker, Rohan. Rohan, go ahead, buddy.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Danny, for the amazing introduction. Yes, as Danny had mentioned on Discord, if you have any questions, we are pretty excited. We're going to take questions in from Discord also. So questions from the YouTube live chat, questions from Discord, so you can share your screenshots too. It's pretty exciting. And I think this week is really exciting. We did a great week last week, but today, our week 2 is our favorite celebrities app. So if you can get my slides on the screen, and I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about this one. So favorite celebrities app. Now, before we go any further, be sure to join the Google Classroom. So the link will be there in the description, or someone will tell you in the live chat. Yep, it's on the screen. On the Google Classroom, you will see all the code that we have. So all our Discord code all our GitHub code that we're going to share today, all videos. So you can have all the video links to these YouTube videos once it's recorded, and also primary communication. So if you have any questions, you can just voice it out there on the classroom in comments. Me or someone else will help you out. So we are here to help you out. So join the classroom. Second thing is join our Discord, which Danny gave a great introduction on. Also, if you have any questions today, head over to the hashtag Flutter Series channel, and you can share screenshots, and I will answer them during the session. So make most use of it and put your questions in there. Cool. A little bit about the schedule. Our first week, we finished it last week. Hello World. Today, our favorite celebrities app. I love calculators next week, so stay tuned. That's pretty exciting. I just want to show the schedule, our 8 weeks that we have planned. Next is dog quotes. So dogs, they have some quotes that they want to share, some life quotes that helps them get across through life. So you can see some quotes there. Currency converter. So we're going to talk about the internet and a lot of cool stuff there. What's the weather? A professional weather app. Finally, to conclude our series, we have last 2 weeks, which is a chat app. We're going to cover everything on Firebase, authentication, storing, so cloud file store, functions for advanced functionality without a server, storage, so storing images, videos, right? And finally, our face recognition app, where we use Firebase's machine learning kit. It's pretty exciting. I just gave a quick brief view through the whole series that we have planned. And without any further ado, let's get to what we have planned today. Our favorite celebrities app. So here's what we have planned. We have a list of favorite celebrities. So those are my favorite celebrities from my favorite. I like talk shows quite a bit. I'm into comedy, as you can, I don't know if you might tell, or I'm into comedy. So what we're going to cover today is some advanced Flutter widgets, text, column, containers. We're going to talk about margin and padding, and size box that builds onto margin and padding, and also talk a little bit about Dart code. So last week we saw about Dart widgets. Today we're going to even look into some Dart code. So constructors, classes, the usual object-oriented programming schemes or constructs that we are used to in Java, C++, C, whatever your programming language is. We're going to see how do we incorporate that into Dart. So, oh yes, I should mention this. Today's requirements. So, first things first is Android Studio or VS Code is recommended. If you haven't installed it so far, not a problem. You can use Dartpad. So Dartpad is an editor online that helps you to write code and see it run, in hardly any time. So head over to Dartpad. You can find the link on Google, or if it's not in the description, you can find it on Google and check that out. What is required though today is something called Git. Since today's code that we're going to do, we're going to follow a very strict structure. So we have hosted a code on GitHub and divided them into many steps. And each step has a number of to-dos. So I'm sure you will like the way we structured the code. To make use of that, you would need something called Git, which we're going to very briefly go over the installation. And so let's do that now. Choose your platform. So for me, it's Windows, and it's a very straightforward installation. It will start the the download, and I have, it could take some time. I will cancel this, and I have the download ready with me. Oops. And the installation is straightforward. And if I can find that out, oops, looks like I've deleted it. So let us, so it's very straightforward. Just keep going through the defaults. And once you get to the end, install it. It's a very quick installation. And it should be pretty straightforward. Also, while that's downloading for us, let me head you over to our GitHub code that we have. So you can head over if the code is not in the description. You can search for my name on GitHub. So on GitHub, search for name, and you should see me. This is the one with the picture. Head over to repositories, and it should be the first one. So or it's on the Google Classroom. So this is what we have. We have multiple branches here, where each branch has different steps, and each step a starter and solution. So you can find yourself along. If you're lost, you can check over to the solution. This is the app that we have, and the steps, the screenshots. You can check this if you want, and check it out. All right, now the download must have completed. And yep, so I just want to show you is just keep going through the default settings. So default, next. Oh, let me actually uncheck this box. Yeah, so just leave everything to the default. I use Vim, that'll be fine. Next, choose the recommended option. Your hashtag is yes. So if there's some hashtag flares, I'm not sure. Yes, so that could be fixed. Yes. Go to the next. Open SSL. What do we use for Git setup adjusting your path environment? Good question. We'll go over that. Next, I can go through all the installation. Just the default options. There are quite a number of them, but stick to defaults. Oh yes, and before you click install, so you can click install. I won't, since I've already installed it. You can click on install, and it's a very quick installation, so that should be done. Can you share the GitHub link over chat? Yes. This is yes, and it'll just be shared on the chat soon. Yes, and where did the GitHub? Yes, so the installation once it's complete, you should head over to C, program files, and you should find this thing called Git. And here is under the bin is where you have these three important programs that we're going to use. So be sure to copy this path. So again, copy this path and head over to something called environment variables. So let me go slow. Environment variables, click on environment variables. Under system variables, be sure to find path. Now, if you have followed last week, you might be thinking that, hey, Rohan, this is similar. Yeah, this is similar. We did the same thing for adding our Flutter path. So then click on edit, select path, then click on edit and add new and paste that path. So that way your command line can find those programs. So I won't save it since I already have it. Just exit this out. And once you're done, click on OK, OK, OK. And that's our setup for Git. So so now using Git, we're going to clone this repository online so that we can take advantage of the structure that's set up in this repository. So the easy way is head over to Android Studio. Now this is the solution app. File, new, and choose this project from version control. So this is where you can get an option to add your Git URL here. And I'm going to paste the URL. Oops, not this one. I'm going to paste the URL that's just pasted in the comment section too. And be sure to choose Git in the URL and choose an appropriate folder of your choice. So I'm not going to choose this. I'm actually going to choose Flutter weekly series. Sure, let's save it there. And once you click on clone, or it exists and it's not empty. So let us create a new folder, favorite celebrities. Yeah. Now, once you click on clone, what's happening is yeah, sure, you can click on yes, cancel. So this is confusing why it happened. Well, then click on no and click on file, open, and then choose that directory that you just cloned and then click on OK. So again, a new window. So once you clone the repository using file, new, project from version control, write the URL here, clone. I accidentally click yes, click on no, and that should work. And then you should have everything that all the code that we have is what should happen. And these errors would go away soon. So we shouldn't worry about that too much. And then yes, click on get dependencies. So that should download if there are any dependencies here, and then everything should work as yeah, and all those errors should go away, and so should in these inner folders. Cool. Let me guide you over. So this is the master branch. Now under Git, you would notice that on your local you just have the master branch. However, in the remote, you will notice that there are many of these branches here. So we're going to start with step 1, starter code. So choose step 1, starter code, and then check out. And now it should ask you for a branch name. Oh, it didn't. So in the new version of Android Studio, it doesn't. And now if you notice, in your local branch, you get that step 1 starter code. Now, if you notice here, so to get this main, let me close the README. It's under the root directory, under lib, and under main.dart. So here is our main app. So we're going to follow these to-dos. So everything's very detailed, and yeah, I'm sure you like this structure. This is what we did for the Android weekly series, and people loved it. So we're going to follow this series even for all the sessions in the Flutter series. Cool. So you can read this, but I'll just, yes, so it's file, new project. How do we do version control? Yes. So file, new, project from version control. So not new Flutter project, but project from version control. And once you click on it, it gives you a chance to enter your URL. And here's where you will paste the URL for the GitHub repository. So basically what's happening is you are telling Android Studio that, hey, I have a repository at this link. And this repository is basically a Git repository. When we specify Git, it's a Git repository. So what happens when you click clone? It downloads all the folders that are there in this repository onto your local system. So currently it's online. It downloads it to your local system, and it even includes like all this metadata, like which all branches are existing in this repository. So that way, if you want a specific branch, you can download that branch, just as how we did here, right? We only had master, but now we wanted step one, start a code. So we downloaded it from the remote branches. Remote branches means it's online. Local branches means it's on your system. So again, file, new, and protect from version control, and that should work. Cool. So let me guide you over what we have planned. So first, notice the initial project structure. So whenever you create a new Flutter project by yourself, so file, new Flutter project, you will notice that you will directly be given a main.dart. So again, we mentioned over this main.dart, it's your main Dart file where all your Flutter code will go. We mentioned this in week 1, but I'll give you a quick introduction. Main is where all your code will go. Your main method is what will be run app. So it will run a particular Flutter app. So if you scroll down, you'll find the definition of that my app. Now, last time we deleted all this code, but now what we're going to do is we're going to keep all the code that Flutter automatically provides for us. We're going to keep it, and we're going to take advantage of it. So if you notice this my app, it returns a material app, as what we discussed last week. You want to encapsulate your app within this thing called material app. And so that's what's happening. You encapsulated my app. It uses this material app, which is a widget that encapsulates everything under this home attribute. If you don't understand it, not a problem. We just need to understand the global level, at least the general idea of it. So my homepage. Now my homepage is this widget that is provided, that's written by Flutter, which this is what we want to delete. We want to implement this ourselves. So first step, if you want to, by the way, let me show you what app you're going to, oops. You can click on the play button. So if you have your emulator set up, click on AVD Manager. And if you have the emulator set up from last week, you can click on the play button and it should launch your emulator. So I actually will close this. Yeah, sure. Let me go to the home page and I'll keep it by the side. And launch your emulator, it should launch here. Then you would notice here, you would see your emulator under these options. So select that option and then click on the play button. Oh, CCleaner ad. Thank you, CCleaner, but no thank you. I'm in the middle of a series here. I appreciate the offer, but I think I'm going to push it off till next Friday. Tomorrow till Friday. All right, let's have. So this, whenever you start a Flutter project for the first time, it takes some time. So let's give it a while, and then we should see a Flutter project launch on our phone. So until then, I'll talk to you about what has changed. I don't know if you've noticed this. Yeah, yep. So my picture is not on the screen. Oh yes, it's almost done. So here, yeah. So these are the to-dos that we're going to do once it starts. We are going to delete the code that Flutter has provided for us. So let's delete. That's to-do 2, and then we're going to, from to-dos 3 to 11, we're going to implement this home screen widget. It's my homepage widget by ourselves. So this now you would see is the default Flutter app that they always provide to us. So if you click on the play button, right, it increases the counter. Now what you're going to do is we're going to, so where it says to do 2, so basically I just selected everything. So everything from starting off here, deleted. And now you should see this error here. So here, what you're going to do is we're going to delete this and we're going to implement our own home widget, our own home screen that's going to be displayed. Now, a convention is always your screens are going to be in a package called screens. So under lib, right click on lib, new, and directory, and create this directory under lib called screens. So under lib, you should have screens. Now, under screens, new, and click on new file, and create a new file called homescreen.dart. So the convention for files You can click on add, but just click on cancel, that'll be fine. The convention for Dart files are all small letters and separated with an underscore for spaces. Right. Now, if you remember the shortcut from last time, yep, it is STL to create a new stateless widget. So actually I will, since all of this is within, I'll cut it and I'll paste it here. All these to-dos are within home screen.dart. Now let's follow this. So, and again, if you missed anything or if you finding it hard to follow, no problem. The solution code is there, so you can follow along. So don't worry. Type in STL and then choose this new stateless widget. So this is, if when you click on enter, you notice that Android Studio or VS Code, if you're using VS Code, automatically creates the default code that you would need for your stateless widget. So now the name of it should be home screen. And enter, that'll be fine. Now you see all these errors. So click on any of these errors, Alt enter on Android Studio and or Control dot on VS Code. Now choose this import library material. So this is where, remember last time we spoke about this material package that is a package provided by Flutter. It comes out of the box, when you download the Flutter SDK. This material package, it contains all the tools, the software tools that you would need for creating your Flutter apps. So now the error should go away. Since where do we get the to-do files? Good question. So under this Git, you would notice under local branches you would only have master, right? Initially, so master is a solution code. So under remote branches, be sure to click on step 1 starter code and then click on checkout. So when you click on checkout, what happens is from your repository online, you download the code, the repository onto your local system. And step 1 starter code that contains all these to-dos that you see. So the master branch by default that contains the solution. The step 1 starter code contains all the to-dos. Good question. Echo light and good username too. Right. Why screens and not routes? Is there some reason behind it? Yes, it's a good question. There is no reason as such. This package name screens is just a convention that we follow. And actually by we, I just mean me and some other folks who prefer screens. It's not a hard and fast rule, so you can get away with calling it routes or routes. It's just a matter of your preference. Cool. Good question. Any other questions? And all right, let's continue. So, yep. Import the material package, right? Oh yes, that was I froze there. All right, we are back now. Next, Ken, head over to main.dart. We are here. The home attribute. Now you remember the home attribute that pointed to our my home page that we deleted. Now we should point this to home screen. And if you get any import error, right? So if you get an error like this, just click on Alt Enter and then click on this import library. So what it does is it imports this file that you just created. Now this home screen, it points to this container here, right? So again, the my app is run. The home attribute points to home screen, which is defined here. Now, if you click on hot reload, you see a black screen. And if you get that, a black screen, that means your app is working fine. And it's very nice. You completed step 1. We set up our code. Now, everything we're going to do is going to be in this home screen.dart. We are modularizing our app. We define what's a home widget or a home screen here in main.dart, and all our code is specified under screens and under our Dart file in the screens. Cool. So now, if you have Git in set up, you should click on terminal and save these changes. So you don't need to know all of Git code. Is totally fine. You can just copy this code here, git add dot. You could even do it from the GUI here and the version control, but I don't know. I just prefer the terminal, and you would prefer it too. It's much more straightforward. Git add dot. Click on enter, and then git commit -m and the 2 inverted commas. In this, just type any message that you want. So anything that could work, like completed step 1. That will work. Click on enter. What happens is it just saves your changes. So now we should get, yeah, okay, everything should work fine. And now you should be able to switch to step 1 solution code. So if you want to check that, you want to compare your code with the solution code, you can click on it and click on compare with current. And if you notice, you see, Android Studio tells you so if you want to compare your code with the solution code, you can use one of these features. But now we're going to head over to step 2, starter code. Oh, by the way, if there are any questions, we can answer those. Any questions? Yes, everyone. Yes. So any questions on the live chat, they're going to be featured on, and I'll answer them instantly. And also on Discord, you can head over to Flutter stream, Flutter series, and I'll try my best to answer as many questions quickly as possible. Dalton is taking care of this. Cool. So any questions, just tag me at the rate Rohan Kerko, so I can see the message instantly and I can try my best to answer it during the session. Cool. So if there are no questions, let's head over to step 2, starter code. So again, under Git, step 2, starter code, and then click on checkout. So what happens is you are downloading. Now you see, you'll get new to-dos here. You have downloaded all the to-dos onto your local system now. Head over to Git, you notice step 2 starter code is under your local branches. You have downloaded the code from the online repository onto your local system. Cool. Let us start doing our to-do 1. And if you notice, by the way, let's say if you didn't follow along with step 1, you can just head over to step 2 starter code, because step 1 is already implemented in step 2 starter code. So that's a helpful thing. So you can just follow along even if you miss something. So don't worry about that. Now, change this container to scaffold. Remember last week we spoke about every screen, the outer outermost widget should usually be something called a scaffold. So under your home screen widget, right? So under lib screens home screen, your home screen should return something called scaffold. If getting import errors, you shouldn't, but if you get, just alt enter and solve it. Now, next thing is, change to scaffold. Let's add an app bar to our scaffold. So actually now if you press Control S, you will notice a white screen. So this is hot reload. So to use hot reload, Control S or the Thunderbolt icon here. Under scaffold, add an app bar. So remember from last week, app bar, then add the app bar widget. And now the app bar widget take control space for Android Studio, or actually control space for Android Studio and VS Code. So control space, you get all these properties that app bar uses. There's a property called title that takes a widget. So I'll explain this in detail. So scaffold, then there's an app bar inside the scaffold. So let's go step by step. Control S, you'll notice an app bar appears here. Let us add the title widget. Now the title widget, Control Alt L. Let me add null here for now. Control Alt L. So Control Alt L on Android Studio or Shift Alt F on VS Code reformats the code for you. So you can get it in this neat hierarchy. Now under title, add this title widget, a text widget. And the text widget in Dart, use single quotation marks for strings. You can use double, there's no hard and fast rule, but we usually do single quotations. Here you can type in something like your name. So I'll type my name, Rohan. Do we select branch from? So do we select new branch from selected? Let me have a look. No, we select checkout. So maybe new branch from selected might also work, but I would recommend checkout since I've used checkout all the time. So I have to check about new branch from selected. Cool. What's the container used for? Very good. We're going to come to that. Good question, Rafael. We're going to come to that. Nice. So just like in Java or C++, put the backslash before any single quotation marks. So Dart knows, this is where the string would end, right? So Control S, you would notice instantly it appears here. Now, within this app bar, click on this new line. There's a property called background color, right? So here you can do colors dot. Remember we spoke last week? Colors dot gives you this. It's a library of default colors that Flutter provides. So here you can do. This is the material. So if you're familiar with material design from Google, this is basically that. All the material design colors come within this colors class. Here you can type in something like pink, which is what I used in the app. Customize this to your liking. So change your name. Don't use my name. Hey, use your name. Personalize it to you. And under colors, choose your favorite color. Control S, and it should appear here. Next, body to scaffold. Yes, we'll do this. Yes, we were here. We added the app bar. Next, let's add a body to the scaffold. So if you notice scaffold, it takes in an app bar, which is this portion here. Next, it takes in something called the body, which is the main part of your app. So in the body, what are we going to have? We're going to have these list of celebrity cards, which is this. Each celebrity has a card. So that's what we're going to implement now. So create a package. So under lib, create a new package called widgets. Now again, someone had asked initially is screens or routes. You can name it to whatever you want. It's just a convention that I follow and most people follow, but usually widgets or components would work. Within this, you would paste all your widgets, which is the celebrity card, right? This widget here, this every card here. So that's what we're going to do now. So under widgets, so widgets new, here create a new file, something called celeb card.dart, and click on add. I'll just click on add, not a problem. Let's add it. Now, so I'll copy the code, the to-dos that we need to implement. Control X, and let's paste it in celeb card. Now, again, just like last time, we need to create a widget, right? Everything in Flutter is a widget. So that's something that you would hear me say all the time. Everything in Flutter is a widget. So what is a stateless widget like? This unique descriptor, we'll talk about that tomorrow. The next week. That's planned for week 3. But for now, just think about this widget. Cool. STL to create our stateless widget. Name this widget celeb card. Oops, celeb card, enter. And to solve all these errors, remember, this is not defined currently in this file. Hey, Flutter saying that, hey, what's build context? What's widget? I don't know. To tell Flutter where to get the definitions for these classes or methods from, import the material library. And all these errors should be solved. Now, under home screen, under home screen, we're going to come back to a home screen. We're going to use this widget called column. So, let me actually close this. This will be okay for now. And head over back to our slides. And should talk to you a little bit about column widget. So far we have seen widgets in Flutter, and last week we saw like center widget, the text widget. That's just like a widget that just takes one child. Today we're going to talk about some widgets that can take in multiple children within them. So if you notice, it's very easy to create a column widget in Flutter. This column, and then within the children's property, pardon my English there, within the children property, you can pass in a list of widgets, right? A list like an array of widgets. So in Dart, we don't call it arrays, we call it lists, but it's the same thing. So this is a very good resource I found online, and it'll be one of the first search results that you get is this Medium article that shows you these unique widgets called row and column. So row is for a horizontal representation, a horizontal alignment of widgets, and a column is for vertical alignment of widgets. So if you notice in our app that we have a vertical alignment of widgets, right? These celebrity cards are arranged vertically. So what we do is we're going to use column. So I just want to show you how it looks. And if you notice here, you have column under the children, you have these containers. So this is one container which stands for this yellow one. You see orange, then the second container which stands for blue here, you can see this, then the purple container. So everything is arranged vertically, and that's why we use column. So let's head back over to our yeah, and if there are any questions, so be sure to put it in and you can give a you can answer those. Yes. So now a body, since our home screen, remember our home screen, it contains a list or a vertical arrangement of these celebrity cards. So now we use something called column, and within column, type in this property called children. And so now if you check your emulator, Control S, you should see nothing change. Let's say column widget automatically enables scrolling. Very good question, Rafael. You're asking good questions. Keep them coming in. No, it doesn't. The column widget, it just assumes that its contents would fit in the screen. In order to make this scrollable, we're going to do something today in step 5 or 6 of this app. We're going to make our column widget scrollable. So you can, as you see in the screenshots, you can scroll through. Good questions, Rafael. All right, now the column widget. Now here, within the column, type in here celeb card. If you get the error, Alt Enter on Android Studio or Control Dot on VS Code, and be sure to select this import library. So it can know where the celeb card is defined, right? It doesn't know where this is defined. So Alt Enter, and let's import it. Another error should go away. Now press Control S, and nothing should change on our app. So you should see a blank white screen or not with the app bar, but nothing should change as such. If you reach this step where you have added a column and the column has a celeb card, the celeb card is just having a container, you're done. Congratulations, you've finished step 2. So step 1, it's set up an app. Step 2, we set up the structure now. We have a home screen that has a column of celebrities. Each celebrity card is a container, which Rafael asked a question on what is a container, which we're going to talk about in the next step or in the step 3 or step 4. So again, let's quickly try to solve any questions. So any questions on the YouTube live chat, and so you can put them in and we can answer them now. Also on Discord, any questions here on Discord? I see. So please tag me if you want me to answer them. So looks like everything is fine here. Thank you, Dalton, for helping us out. And any questions on YouTube live chat, we can try to help you out. Could we possibly get DevTools demo at some? Yes, good question, Dalton. So yes, if you Dalton's asking about this. So in Android Studio, you would see this Flutter inspector, or on VS Code, you would see this. So when you run an app, you would see this. So the app isn't running currently. You would see something like a Flutter icon with a magnifying glass. So click on that, and it should take you to this screen itself on VS Code. Now this is your dev tools. So if you see on, like in Google Chrome, right, any website, you can see inspect, and you get all these dev tools here. Like how are the hierarchy of the elements here. Flutter does the same. That's why we all love Flutter so much, is because it exposes these dev tools for us. So the hierarchy of, you see, we have a material app. So let me collapse everything. Within app, you have a material app. Within app, you have a home page. Within, you have a scaffold. The scaffold, the center is added by default, so don't worry about it. Floating action by default, don't worry about it. Within that, you have a app bar. And within center, you have this column widget that we have. This column. Within that, you have 2 text widgets. Oops. Oh, just refresh. This is the old one. Yeah, refresh it. So within the column, you have the celeb card. And so yes, you can use these dev tools, and you can play around with them. I'll show you a quick one. Is you can click on this, which usually helps is show hide debug paint, which we'll use in the future steps. It's a good question. Yes, we'll use this. All right. Yes, submit your questions via chat and we can answer those. Cool. So now if you haven't followed along, or if you've missed something, not a problem. Save your changes in this branch. So git add dot right? Git add dot and git commit -m, and in the message just type anything. It doesn't matter. It's just for you, so don't worry. Completed step 2. You've saved the changes. Now if you see all this blue stuff should go away because it's saved now. Now download step 3, start a code. Now if you have missed something in step 2, don't worry. You can step 3 has already implemented the solution for step 2, so you can directly skip to step 3. And if you notice, everything's already implemented. Control S, nothing should change. And now head over to the to do section. You can see all the to dos that we have, right? You can search that. We have 2 in home screen and a couple of them in select card.dart. So again, if there are any questions, be sure to let me know and I can answer those. So under lib, we have the celeb card, and that celeb card is this card. Like each celebrity has a card here. You see, Andy Richter has a card, Josh Robert Thompson has a card. So we're going to work on that card now. So let's head back over here. Now, first step first is let's answer Raphael's question from before. Is what is the tag called? Yep, I froze there. Yes, let me repeat. So it looks like there's some problem on my end. So I'll repeat if it ever freezes again, no problem. So now let's head back over to Raphael's question on what is a container. So a container is so if you're familiar with web development, you might see this HTML tag called div, right? This div tag, within this you can place like whatever tags that you want, right? Your, let's say h1, whatever here. You can do the same thing with a container. A container is akin to this div widget, this div tag in HTML. So you can use it for, like, why would you use divs in HTML, even though you can just directly define them? Div, it gives you this encapsulated version of your tags in HTML or your widgets in Flutter. So you can encapsulate everything and move this whole container around and make changes to that, rather than changing every small bit of it, right? It'll seem much more logical in the future. So this is a good programming principle. Put everything in a container or something similar to that. So now within a container, let us first give it a background color. So a container has a property called color, right? Now, what background color we're giving? We're giving a light shade of pink. So let's do that. And also, if you want to see how would our app look like after step 3, oh, this is 1. Yeah, but this is step 3. It should look like this. So we're going to reach this step now of our app. So, and the color, type in your colors dot. We're going to use pink, but not pink. We're going to use a lighter shade of pink. So if you're on Android Studio, select this pink here and tap on Control Q. On VS Code, just hover over this. So move your cursor over this pink and it should show you all these options here. You can see this beautiful shades of each color here. So material design is this amazing palette of colors. I mean, amazing palette of all guidelines, but it even gives colors. So we're going to choose this pink 100, which is this lighter shade of pink. Now a container is having that much, this color. Now, let's click Control S. Now you might be thinking that, hey Rohan, in the home screen, we have a column that has this card. But I can't see this card. Where is this card? Right? In our column, we should have this card. Now, the thing what's happening now is containers by default, I've written it here. Yeah, containers by default. Yes, if it doesn't have a child or a height or a width, it goes to as small as it can go. So if it doesn't have any child, it just shrinks all the way down to 0. So let us add some children to our container using this child property. And now then, once we do this, then you will see the container here. So hang tight there, just stay tuned there, hang in there, so you can see the container soon. Now within this child, so observe this. Yes, I've been using Android for nearly 5 seconds. There's no control queue existing. You learn something new every day. Yes, control queue is an amazing feature. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Cool. So now, this container here, it has an image. This container has a text and a text. An image, a text, a text. So this is what should go in your mind as a developer. 3 widgets. Now think to yourself, how are they arranged? Right? You would notice that they're arranged vertically. So whenever you want to do a vertical arrangement of widgets, one almost guaranteed widget that you would use is something called column, which you just used before. So we're going to have a column of our first widget would be our image, our second image would be our second widget would be our text, our third widget would be our text. So we have an image for the celebrity, our name of the celebrity, and a tagline of our celebrity. So let's head back over to our app and let us add here a column. Now within the column takes in not a child, but it takes in children, a group of children. So now, if since everything's on the same line, to give this beautiful hierarchy of to format this, click on Control Alt L on Android Studio or Shift Alt F. Oops, Shift Alt F on VS Code, so you can get this beautiful hierarchy. So let me Control Z it, Control Alt L, so you can get it neatly. Now expand this list of widgets. Now here, our first is something called an image, right? Image. That's what we do. Now image, if you notice, you get this warning. Hover over it, you see this parameter image is required. So now if you run the app, you'll get this error here. You should get this red stuff that says image not equal to null. This assertion has failed. So let us add our image here. Now images, let me show you this. So this is a sample image that we have that's hosted on the internet at this URL, right? Every resource on the internet has a URL. So this is the URL for this resource, which is my picture. Under the image, you have this image property. It's very easy. Just pass in this network image, class or this widget here. It's basically like an object, this class, and within this, the text that will go within it is the URL of the image. So now comes the interesting part. Head over to your Chrome, your favorite browser. Yeah, I'm going to advertise Chrome, of course, and search your favorite celebrity now. So this is a fun step. So I'm going to search for Conan O'Brien. Oops, not a dash. Conan O'Brien. Head over to your images, and I'm going to select a different image for now. I'm going to select this image from NPR website, and now to use this image in your app, right-click on it, and you would see this copy image address, or you can select this open image in new tab. You notice now you get this URL is exposed to this .jpg file that's hosted on the internet at their whatever server they have, it's hosted there. So you can click Control A, Control C, and now you have this URL to this resource online. Now to use it in your app is very easy. Oops, not VS Code. Today we're going to use Android Studio for the entire thing. Now under your image, just as we showed before, type in here network image, and within the parentheses, directly your single quotation here, paste in your image URL. Control S. If everything has gone correctly, you should see your image appear. So this is pretty interesting. You should get your image to appear here, right? You have a column. So your home screen has a column of celebrity cards. Each card is itself a column of an image now. So image is your network image. Now let us give this network image. We have done this part. Let's give it a fixed height of 200, a fixed height and width of 200. So our image, let's give it a height of 200. And now you might be thinking that, hey, where are the units, Rohan? So units in Flutter or in Flutter, it's by default it's logical pixels. So you don't need to type any unit there. Logical pixels, think of it as just pixels on the screen. Um, but logical means if you are on a larger screen, right, the multiply will increase, right? There's some logic behind it. We won't go into it. Just assume that logical pixels is what we should be using. Cool. The other height and width. Now you notice is we want this image. Right? It looks so untidy now. You have this background of a container. You see this container has a pink background. You can change it to green. Right? This is this background here. Right? The background, we don't want to see it. It looks very ugly. We want the image to fill the entire screen. This image is colorful. We want it to fit the entire container. So to do that, there's a very cool thing called fit. So within the image, there's a attribute called fit. Within fit, type in here box fit dot cover. This is something that we'll be using almost all the time for images. Control S. You see now the image, it crops itself. So this image is about yay big, and it crops this remaining part out, and all you see is the center of the image. Right? You can mess around with these fit options. So like this fit height, which it or fit width. Right? You can keep messing around with this, so it fits the width and it ignores the height. Cover, it fills the entire container, the entire parent. So this image is contained within the column. So you can mess around with these, and yeah, we'll always use cover. Most of the times we'll use cover. Nice. Next, we have finished our image. Now remember in our under the image we have our text. So let's start to work on that now. And the image, so under our columns, our list of widgets, under our image, type in here text and open parenthesis. Type in here whichever celebrity you have entered here. Yeah, you have entered some image URL here. Write their name over here. So I'm going to write Conan O'Brien. And to solve this error, right, put a backslash if your name has any single quotes. So then Flutter will Dart will know what's the start and end of your string. Now if you press Control S, you see that appear here. And next, put a comma and type in a new text widget. And here is the tagline. So here I'll write longest. You can type your tagline for your favorite celebrity. Longest running late night show host. I'll put a heart. Yep. So I think I froze there. So let me repeat again. So we have this text widget. We have these two text widgets. Under the image, we have the first text widget, which says the name of the celebrity. And the second text widget, we have the tagline. So I put a heart next to, actually I put the heart. You can mess around with this and have fun and do something that you like. I'm going to put a corner brand and a heart. And this is our plan now. Now, let's look at our finished tab. This looks slightly larger, and also it's slightly bolder, right? This text, let me zoom in. Right, you can see this here. So let's implement that now. So after the text in your text widget, click a comma and type in a comma, spacebar, and there's a property called style. And then the style takes in something called text style. Now within text style plus control space, you have all these styles for your text. So you can mess around with these and figure something that you like. But what we're going to do today is this font size. So we're going to save this to 24.0. So it becomes larger, Control S to have it hot reload. And we're also going to give it, so if you want to see it in a neat hierarchy, Control Alt L on Android Studio and Shift Alt F on VS Code. And the text style, choose another style called font weight. And here the font weight should be font weight dot bold. So you should see it turns out to be bold. Actually not bold, I'll put W600. So it's slightly less than bold. We have that. Now let's style our second text widget also. So comma, style, takes in a text style, right? Now, since it's very untidy, it's on the same line, let's do Control Alt L, and to see it on the next line, put a comma here. Okay, let's write something here first. Font size, let's add a font size of 18 or 16.0. So it's a subtitle, right? So it should be smaller, 16.0. And to differentiate it from the primary text here, let's give it a font weight of font weight dot W300, which is something lighter. Now it's so untidy, right? I have to scroll left, right. So now just very easy. Control Alt L. Now you were thinking that hey, it's still on the same line, right? I want to keep these two properties on a different line. So what will be happening is these two parentheses are on the same line. So be sure to put a comma between them. Control Alt L, and now a comma here too. So if you put a comma, then Flutter or your Flutter plugin on your IDE will create this hierarchy for you. So put a comma after that and it should work. And now if you see, our thing is ready. We have completed till you should see the newly created celeb card stuck to the left of the screen. Now let's head over to do 12 and 13. Now click on Flutter Inspector. So Dalton had asked this question, or someone had asked this question. Click on this Raphael, I believe, this show debug paint. You notice now you get these blue lines, these cyan lines. This shows, right? So how do we get the heart in there? Good question. So I just use the emoji. So to get this on my computer, it'll be different on yours. Just Windows key and dot and choose the emoji, and that should work. Cool. So now on Flutter Inspector, if you notice this, under this, okay, let's refresh. So refresh. You see this container? You can click on this and it will highlight. So you can see, right, each widget here. So this is what I said. It's amazing. Flutter is amazing. This Flutter Inspector is amazing. It's pretty cool. Now what we want to, if you notice this column, you see it is not stretching across the entire screen. But look at our app. Our app has this column that stretches the entire screen. So what we do is go to the home screen where it says to do 12, and under the column, enter, there's a property called cross-axis alignment. Cross-axis alignment, so write your cross-axis alignment dot stretch. So dot stretch, it says stretch it across the width of the screen. Don't worry, what this means, what's cross-axis. It'll be clear with time. So cross-axis, in short, column, it's vertical, right? So this is your main axis, and horizontally is your cross-axis. If you want more information, you can head over to this resource online, but and ask questions here. But and also we'll always use this column widget, so it'll be clear. Don't worry. Control S, so you can see it hot reload. Let's remove this. You notice now. Let's remove the debug paint. It stretches across the entire screen, and we finished our step 3. It says step 1. I'll correct that. It's step 3. Cool. So we have finished step 3 quickly. So any questions are there? We can quickly answer those questions. You can put the live chat questions on the screen, and you can put the questions in the chat, everyone, and it'll be featured on the screen now. And I'll check on this Discord if there are any questions. Anyone tag me? So tag me if you want any questions. @ my name, Rohan Kapoor. So yes, thank you, Rafael, for answering those. And good. And if there are any questions on YouTube live chat, they can be featured on the screen now or sometime later, and I can answer those. Cool. So we have completed step 3. Control S. Yes, submit your questions via chat. Head over to terminal. Let's save our changes in this branch here. You notice this green stuff, it says you've added some extra code. You notice this blue stuff, it means you've edited some code. So let's save this code. So git add dot, enter, git commit -m, this double quotation marks. This is just a message for you, just so you know, like, you are adding a message with your commit. So just save it as completed. Step 3. Enter. Your code is saved locally. Nice. Now download step 4 starter code from the internet. So from this online repository, you are downloading it to your local system. So click on step 4 starter code, click on checkout, and voila, your thing should work. Now you should get some new to-dos. Head over to to-do, and you should see 9 to-dos. So here the 9 to-dos are under celeb card. So now we're going to work on the spacing. So you see step 4, I'll correct this, where it says 1. Basically now we're going to add paddings and other spacings to beautify this UI. So you notice here, everything's sticking to the edges of this container. Now we want to add some padding and some beautification, so it doesn't stick to the edges of the container. That's our plan. So let's implement this plan now. Cool. So let's see. To do 1. Now this container. So Rafael had asked ago, like, why do you put everything in a container? You notice now, if you want to add a padding to this column, since it's wrapped within a container, I can just add a padding to this container rather than worrying about this column. So let's add a padding property here. So container has a padding property, so we can click on it and enter. Now everything like padding and margin in Flutter, right? They happen through this widget called edge insets, and then you do dot and you get a variety of options here. So edge insets and then a variety of options. So yep, here under padding, type in your edge insets and press a dot here. You notice you get all these options here. Now, depending on what your use case is, you can use anyone that you want. So can you show how you outline the widgets on the screen? Yep, absolutely. So on the Flutter inspector, so Flutter inspector is like your inspect on your browser. So if you're familiar with web development, you can use this inspect, right, to inspect your console and all the stuff here. On Flutter inspector, to get the blue stuff, this blue outline, this borders, click on the show debug paint. To get the hierarchy, click on refresh and you get this hierarchy here. If you want to select any widget on the screen, click this like a scope on a sniper rifle. Click on this and you can click on any widget here and it highlights it on the screen. You can even click on the widget here on the screen and it highlights it in your hierarchy. It's lagging here, but it would work. Cool. All right, edge insets. Now what we're going to use symmetric. So edge insets are symmetric. It gives you these two options. So we are going to give a horizontal padding of 20. Let me actually remove this so it's so we can see it clearly. Let's give it a horizontal padding. So under symmetric, control space, you have these two options here. So under horizontal, click on enter, click on edge insets. Oops, not edge insets. Now here you have to give directly how much you want. So you notice now. Oh yeah. So in the solution, I've given the old image. So the heart goes away. This is the new branch, right? So the changes would be saved on that branch, but we haven't moved the changes onto step 4. So don't worry if your stuff changes. Padding, 20. Let's add a vertical padding of 20. Oops, vertical of 20.0. So within container, you have this padding widget or this padding property. Within that, you have this edge insets or symmetric. Within that, you can give a horizontal and a vertical margin, a vertical padding. So now if you press Control S, you notice you get some additional padding here. Let's head over to Flutter inspector. You notice now this is the container, and this dark blue or this slightly blue color that you see here, that's the padding. So you see here, if I give it a larger horizontal padding, the blue stuff it enlarges. So that's what padding is. Now next, what we want to give is a margin. So margin of 20 horizontally and vertically 20. So 20 and 10 actually for vertical. Let's give it 20 here. And now container, you can give it a margin. So margin, it is So you can get some spacing between the container and the parent. So don't worry, it'll be clear now. So let me hide this so you can see it clearly. So within your container, there's this padding widget under that, or above it, doesn't matter. Basically, within the parentheses of container, pass in a margin widget. Within margin, the same thing, edge insets dot symmetric. Within symmetric, let's give it a vertical margin of 10. So Control S. You notice you get the space here. Let's see in the inspector what happened. Right, you see this, so it's a little hard to see. Maybe you can, yeah. So it's hard to see, but basically, this is your container, and you get this extra margin here. Now let's add a horizontal margin. So horizontal, and let's add a 20.0 horizontal margin. Now keep your eyes peeled at where my cursor is here. Right, let's press Control S. Notice here you got a margin. Now you notice here there's a margin here. So this space is actually the parent, which is our scaffold, or our column, whatever. So you get this margin here. You get this. Uh, yep. So looks like I froze. So I'll try to fix it for the next session. I'm probably going to call AT&T. Oh yeah. By the way, this is a good excuse. Hey, folks. I mean, the internet is not working well. I've got AT&T. Yeah. The only coverage that I get with AT&T is no coverage at all. So don't blame me. It's AT&T. We're not going to go on a rant against any company on this session, but this is a running joke that I usually do in some other stuff. Well, anyway, uh, let me repeat again. We have this padding. We have this margin. This margin is it keeps the container away from the perimeters of the screen, and the padding, it keeps like a padding within the container itself. Right, so you get the spacing. Now, I hope you're following along. Ask any questions if there are, and I'll be happy to answer those. We have done the margins step to do 4 and 5. Next, to do 6. Notice here, between the image and the text, there's very little space. Between the text and the subtitle, there's very little space. We need to add some space here. Notice in the final version, you see there's some spacing here, right? It looks much neater now. My father used to say, when I was a kid, I used to stick to the margin. I used to, when I was writing on a textbook, I used to stick to the margin. I still remember my father would always say, keep some space away from the margin. So that's basically what we're trying to do. We don't want to stick everything together. We want to give some spacing here. Margin padding, this is all. I apologize for this. This seems a problem on my end. Yeah, I'll try to fix it for next session. So let me repeat that again. So margin and padding, they are spacing parameters to beautify your UI. So let's add some spacing between our image and our text, and between our text and our text. So we're going to use a widget called sized box. So notice in our celeb card, which is a container that contains a column of an image, of a text, and of a text. Between this, let's add a new widget called sized box. Within sized box, here within the height of the sized box, it takes in height and width and some other properties. What you're going to give is a height of 20.0, comma, and Control S. You notice now you get some spacing here. Let's head over to the inspector. You notice this, right? Let's give it a width too. You know, this is that empty sized box. So we're giving us empty sized box, so with no width. So it's just a line, effectively just a line. And it gives that spacing. Let's add a spacing between our texts. So between the celebrity name, Conan O'Brien, love you, Conan O'Brien, between the celebrity name text and our longest running late night show tagline, between that, add a sized box, parenthesis, and type in your height. Give it a height of 5.0. Now you might be thinking that why 5.0? Basically, these two texts are related to each other, right? So you want to keep them together. Add a very small space, but our image and our text, they are totally different elements. So give a big space. This is just general UI concepts. Yeah, they're going to follow this along to build professional UIs in the future. So this is just a slight taste into professional UI development. Cool. Let's remove our show debug paint, and congratulations, you are making good progress. This is step 4, and we have completed our app. Let me remove the inspect pane, the Chrome debug controls there. All right, so now we have finished step 4. Congratulations, very good progress. Now the fun stuff. We're going to add multiple celebrities. Hey, I mean, I love Conan O'Brien, but I also love Craig Ferguson. I'm going to put Craig Ferguson in the app, and I'm sure you will have your favorite celebrities that you want to put in your app. After all, it's not favorite celebrity, it's favorite celebrities. So now we're going to think about how we do that. So let us save our changes. So head over to the terminal. And also, so put your questions in, and so queue for, so I'm going to answer some questions now before we go to step 5. So type in your git add dot to save your changes, and git commit dash m, quotation marks, type here any message like completed step 4. And now if there are any questions on the YouTube live chat, you can answer those. And I think someone tagged me on, and might be able to go over it again. So let me see it very quickly. When reading bin.dash system file cannot be found, launching cannot be found. Oh, bin dot. So the hierarchy should be lib and then main dot dart. So let me show you lib main dot dart. So somehow you might be accidentally writing this to be bin. So you can try to fix that. Any other questions? Let's go through. All right, everything is fine. Just tag me if you want my help. Also, any questions on YouTube live chat? Let me take a quick look. We can feature it on the screen. Yeah, submit your questions via chat, and I can answer those. Cool. So if you're all okay with it, let's head over to step 5, start a code. And also, if some of you are like, he's going too fast, or the guy's an idiot. What's he doing? Come on, man, slow down. Don't worry. I mean, it's for you. So just tell me to slow down, tell me to speed up. Put your things in the chat, and I can try to make the best session for you. So voice your comments out. You made 2 Dart files. Can we make 1 Dart file and do all the work? Very good question, Venu. Yes, we can do that. However, for good design, we modularize our app by separating our screens within the screens package. Within that, we keep all our screens within separate Dart files, all our widgets within our widgets package, and within a widgets package, we keep a separate Dart file for each widget. So yes, we can do it within the same Dart file, like main.dart itself. Write all your code here, write all your widgets here. We can do that, but it's not recommended, as in the future debugging will be a big pain. So good question, Renu. Yes, but we can do it, but we don't do it. It's for good modularization. Cool. If there are any questions, we can feature it and I'll answer those. Next, let's head. So we have saved the changes here. Let's download step 5 starter code and check out. And now, so if you haven't completed step 4, not a problem at all. Step 5 starter code already implements everything in step 4. So yeah, it's good, right? Control S, everything should work. And now let's check our to-dos. So head over to the to-do pane here. We have 6 to-dos. So within our screens, within our home screen, we have 6 to-dos. Let's do those to-dos here. So within our to-dos, let's have a look. Now we have to create multiple celeb cards. So now you might be thinking that, hey, Rohan, we wanted multiple celeb cards. We used column for multiple celebrities, but we only used 1 celebrity. So what's the use of a column? Column is for multiple celebrities, multiple objects, right, that we want to arrange vertically. Column, think about it in Excel or in Excel, in Google Sheets. Hey, from Google Sheets. Well, we have a column. What's a column? It's a vertical entity, right? It's something vertical. So in order to arrange something vertically, we use a column, but we only have one thing. We could have even used a container. So now you would understand why we used a column. since we can do something like this: celeb card. Control S, you get 2 celebrities here. Let's add one more. Celeb card. Control S, you get 3 celebrities here. Now, hey, what's this big check sign here? It looks like a construction site at the road. I see that sign and I slow down because I don't want the fine. Why am I seeing it in my Flutter app? What's going on? I'm panicking. Calm down. Take a deep breath. It's nothing. Basically, what's happening is column, as Rafael had mentioned previously, is column is not scrollable by default. So to make it scrollable, what we do is we wrap it within a widget called single child scroll view. So whatever is within this widget suddenly becomes scrollable. So click on column, click on Alt Enter. You get this beautiful intentions actions menu, which is amazing. You would use it all the time. It shortens the time to do common tasks. So click on wrap with widget. You notice now you have this widget here that encloses our column widget that we had before. Type here single child scroll view. Click on enter, right? Click on enter. Basically, that's, or click on escape to escape out of that thing. Now, if you press Control S, that error goes away. Yeah, Rohan, thank you, man. I'm much more calm now. Usually, when I see that sign there, I remember about the fines that I have to pay to the local OMV or DMV. So, all right, that's gone, and now your app becomes scrollable. So, if you run this on an iOS emulator or simulator, I think it's called that. If you scroll, you will get on iOS. You will get a cool tip I'll show you is under Flutter Inspector. Click on Platform. Click on iOS. It shows you not completely, but it shows you how it will look on an iOS phone. Not exactly, but it shows you to a decent amount. The most accurate representation would be using an iOS simulator, but this is just a quick way, quick shortcut. And on Android, you'll get this rainbow effect. Cool. Very good here. So we have now we can even add a padding within our scroll view. So you see this, we have a very small padding here. Let's add some more padding between our top and bottom of our scroll view. So everything in Flutter is very intuitive. So within our single child scroll view, there's a padding widget here. It's you love this so much. Rafael, he told me he loves it, and all of you will also love it too. It's so easy. Within padding, how we do padding? Remember edge insets. Yes, edge insets. Dot. Let's be symmetric. And within symmetric, we want to add a vertical padding of 10. So vertical, vertical 10.0, and Control S, you should see now get extra padding here. It looks much more uniform, right? You have 20 here, you have 10 from the container, and then 10 from the let me. So it may not be clear to you now, but you can check it on your when you see the code. 10 we get it from the. It's a little hard to see, but 10 we get it from the from this line. So I'll comment this line out. See, 10 we get from the margin of the container, and another 10 we get from the. Oops, what did I do? Let me Control S. Oh yeah. So let me show this again. So 10 we get from the margin of the container, 10 from the padding of the of the scroll view. Now this is exciting news. We have finished step 5. So we are reaching step 6, which is the end of our app. Yay! I'm pretty excited. Let's go through it. So after every step, I always see any questions. This is a very interactive session. I want to help you out as much as possible. So any questions in YouTube live chat, we can feature them now. And I'll quickly take a look at on Discord. Okay, someone, can we go over adding Git to the path? Yes. So I believe you're talking about on the terminal, the Git commands may not be working. So that's because you might not have entered it in your environment variables. Not a problem. Search for environment variables in your search. So you can really have a magnifying glass there. Environment variables. Click on environment variables. Within system variables, search something called path. Within path, click on edit and go to your explorer, right? Under C drive, program files, Git, and bin. So this is the usual uh, place where you would have it. It would be sent even on the chat now. You can check it out. That's your and it could be shown on the screen or entered in the chat. This, when you say Git, we are basically running this program here, this executable. So currently your command line may not know that where to get this Git from. So you need to copy this path and paste it. Click on new and paste it here. So I won't paste it, but you can paste it since it's already done for me. And I click on escape. And then once it's I have it here. Oh, actually, so yes, so if there's an error, so sorry about that. Maybe it could be, so usually bin is what works, but I have done command there. I don't know why. So this is done long ago, but even command could work. So if you're having any errors, try using command. So cmd folder. So within program files, git command and paste that here and click on OK. OK. So exit all of that. Now we can minimize this. Now to reflect the changes here in our terminal, click on close and then this pane would disappear. Then click on terminal again and it will start a new terminal. So it will refresh everything. So now your Git should definitely work. And if not, we can work over it one-on-one later. So no problem. Cool. We have saved our changes on Discord. We have all questions seem fine. On YouTube live chat, if there are any questions, we can feature it and I can answer those. Cool. Finally, let's head over to the step 6. We have saved our changes. We're reaching the end. Yes. So step 6 starter code checkout. Oh, looks like I've made some changes here. For symmetric, for symmetric, you specify one measurement for top and bottom each. For all, you need to specify the. Yes, correct. Ari, thank you for mentioning it. Symmetric, you don't need to specify all. Like it saves you some time. Symmetric, you specify vertical. It does top and bottom. Horizontal, left, right. Good. Now, let me save the changes here. I don't know why I didn't save it. So git add. Oh yeah, this is for before. So git add dot git commit dash m completed step 5. Now this blue stuff should go and all the changes should be saved very quickly. Let's head over to step 6, starter code, checkout. And now, okay, let's head over to celeb card. Actually, so, oops. So I made a mistake here. Basically, these to-dos are talking about celeb card. To-dos 1, 2, 3 are talking about celeb card, and the to-dos in celeb card is talking about home screen. So just remember that I made a change. So yeah, sorry about that. I froze again. What I was saying is these to-dos here, to-dos 1, 2, and 3, that's within home screen, is actually the to-dos for celeb card. And the fourth to-do within celeb card is actually the to-do for home screen. Right? So we'll just remember that. I'll just copy it now, but you can remember it too if you can. Cut and go to celeb card quickly, paste it here, and copy this quickly. Home screen dark, let's paste it here. Good. Now within celeb card, let's do one. So currently it shows all Kunal brands, but I want to add some different celebrities here. So go to your celeb card. Now what you want to do is you want to add these fields, like a variable name, right? Variable for image URL name and tagline, image URL name and tagline. So it can be dynamic instead of static. So at the opening curly bracket, type in your final string image URL name, final string tagline, final string image URL. So name is for our name, tagline is for the thing here, and then image URL for our image. So now to define this, create a constructor. So click on this curly brackets and you can click Alt Enter and then create constructor for final fields, and this error goes away. If you want to do it by yourself, which I would recommend in the early stages, type in here celeb card, and I will explain how a constructor works in the next session. But for now, let's just implement it. Open the curly brackets. So in Dart, you do constructors using a different way. Open the curly brackets and type in your this dot name, this dot tagline, and this dot image URL. Basically, these three variables here. You see, it highlights the same variable here. Yeah, cool. Now, wherever you have the static access, like instead of taking the static URL, delete this and paste here image URL. So now look at the progress. Someone will call the constructor of the celeb card and will pass an image URL, save it here, and you will use this image URL within a network image. So no static images. Now all won't be Conan O'Brien, right? This, I don't want the static name, I want name, right? We want different names. The tagline, delete the tagline, that's static, and add this variable tagline. Oops. So image URL, name, tagline. The formatting looks a little off, Control or L, and you should get this beautiful format. And now go back to home screen, and currently if you press Control S, you'll get errors here. Right? You get all these errors. That's because you can head over to the run pane, you get all these errors here. Name, tagline, like all these three parameters shouldn't be null, but it is null because when we call the constructor, we haven't called it. So let's explicitly call it. So name, Conan O'Brien. We are almost nearing the end. So hang in there. Conan O'Brien. Tagline, you can add some time ABC, and image URL. Let me add the image URL. Seems to be the one. Yeah. The second, so I'll delete the second and third one for now. Control S. Now this should work. You see, you get this dynamic thing. I can change this here to, I can add the S. Change this because we pass it here. It passes it to celeb card and it displays the dynamic information now. So let me change this to correct. Brian. Yep. You can add. Well, we'll fix that later. So you can add multiple celebrity cards here. All right, multiple celebrity cards. And for now, to save time, I will save the changes here. Terminal git add dot git commit completed step 6 and the app. Hooray! Yep, we deserve this. Hooray! Committed, and I'll head over to step 6 solution code. So step 6, oops, not started. Step 6 solution code. Check out. Solution has implemented 3 celebrities, Control S, and you should get 4 celebrities. You should get the app that we wanted. Also, one last step actually we should do in our starter code, which is not very important, but we'll talk about it. Let's just leave it as it is. Yep. So this is our app. Yep. Any questions are there? We can feature on the live chat. And but yeah, so that's. I hope you enjoyed this app. Next week we're going to love calculator. So any questions are there? We can see it on the chat screen now. I'll check the Discord if anyone has tagged me. Okay, everyone seems fine. Cool. Cool. So yep, that's our app. Malusha is we yep. That's our app. So you want me to conclude, Malusha? Yeah, any questions there? We can answer the questions.
I'm happy to take any more questions if you have any.
Also, yes, what I want to say until we get some questions is I don't know if you've noticed this, but since last week, I've actually shaved. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't noticed, I've also shaved my beard. That's
good. That's good. You got a second camera. I think the flow was much better, and I think the connection between what we had on Discord and taking questions live is working really well. Welcome to send more questions. Here's the thing, the discussion shouldn't stop here. After the session is done, you can always revisit the video and go through it again if you want. Please give Rohan a chance to share this. So it's going to be available right after this. Share it with your network, share it with your community. Invite them to join the channel on Discord as well. Rohan, we got a question from a few students as to when you would be able to do some office hours. So let's say they learn what you teach them, and then if they want to do some office hours, that's one of the other reasons we set up the Discord server. What are your thoughts? What's your availability like if that's the case?
Okay, that's a good question. So I was thinking we'll start it from next week, and I'll be available like many times. So yes, we can find a good time.
Okay, in that case, what I'll do is I'm going to put a poll on Discord, depending on the availability that you have. Let's give them some options. And then that's why we created the Q&A sessions there, so you can share your code, share your screen, and get one-on-one quick fire answers from Rohan, and Anna Dalton is also there. Rafa has been helping out as well. So we're going to bring a few more DSC leads who are interested, who can support this. And then we can go from there. So the ones who are already live, don't forget to join us this weekend for the Cloud Study Jam. Interestingly enough, we want to start this Kickstarter because this will give you the foundation, the fundamentals that you're going to require to join the upcoming more advanced sessions on machine learning, AI, and other advanced topics that we want to cover. I know Kubernetes team is very excited to teach you how to use Kubernetes. So we said, okay, we're going to get you the foundation laid out. And there's a few other series coming on machine learning itself, run by some of our DSC leads, as well as based on the feedback we got from the machine learning summit that's happening right now in the next 3 weeks. So we got a lot of material, a lot of content coming your way. Give it a like, give it a share. And then welcome to share with your friends. And it's always better to learn as a pair, right, Rohan?
Absolutely. I'm not alone here. I actually have a pair. It's me and Mr. Android usually joins in. And we usually have a great partnership. Hey, pal, high five. He doesn't talk too much, but he's a good friend. Yeah.
And then the other event, obviously, is Dr. Hennessy's event. I'm going to put the clips again. And then, once again, Rohan, thank you so much for all the work you're doing. Thank you for taking the time. And those who are watching, have a great night.
Also, yes. And all of you watch these events that Madhusha is saying, it's pretty amazing events. And if you don't believe me when I say like it's going to be good this time, hold on a second there. If you don't believe this, let's do this. Watch those events, folks. Yeah, and I'm going to take it off movie star. So you better watch those events.
You forgot to take the tag off. But anyways, thank you so much. Have a great night.